why on earth would anyone want to go abroad?
Fuck this British weather! Well, good evening. Welcome back to Kona, and welcome to the first big build week. So we're about, I think, just past 10 weeks, I think, 9 weeks to the Ironman. And from here on in, the weeks get super busy. So we can expect lots of sessions, the duration of the sessions to have gone up. Probably a little bit less speed work, which is probably needed to help me recover. And some very big brick sessions as well. So Sunday the first brick session comes up. I've got about 110k on the bike, and then probably about, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 8k run straight off it. Starting to test out the nutrition and things like that. So far this week, all I've done is, it's Tuesday now, so tonight, nice easy hour base run, just kind of waking the legs up for the week. And yesterday was the same on the bike, zone 2 bike. For bike sessions, especially on weights, I tend to try and ignore the power and just work off how I feel and what my heart rate's doing. And I did the bike session I did yesterday, actually, the average power at the end of the session when I checked it, for what felt like a very simple, manageable session, power numbers are really good. Well, for me. So it's all starting to click a little bit on the bike. These long endurance rides seem to have helped a lot over the last few weeks. And yeah, got lots more to do. So hopefully a little bit more improvement to get to before the day. But really we're just focusing on having the endurance in the legs to get through it now. So this week, I'll guess now it's probably going to be somewhere in the region of about 13 hours training, swim, bike, run, plus a little bit of strength conditioning too. So let's get into it. Hope you enjoy the video, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you do like it. Be ideal. And yeah, if you want to join any Saturday discussion below, ask any questions about the training so far or about the fundraising for Brain Tumor Research, straight in the comments below. And yeah, enjoy. The sun came out eventually. There you go. No more hill, but what the hell is this weather doing? Right guys, welcome to Saturday, and bit of a first on the in the programme today. First big brick session. So I'm just coming to the end of the bike part of that. I'm currently 100k in on the Bolton bike course on Rouvy, and it's the first time I've tried Rouvy and it is really good. But well, I might have underestimated how hard this bike course is going to be. But I'm just going to the top of this top of the climb on this next section. I've done, I think, 1.5 laps plus the bit from Pennington, and yeah, give us a little taste of what I'm in for on the day. It's going to be hard work. Also been testing on nutrition. I've ate pretty much an entire box of flapjacks, probably, I don't know, 60 calories a piece, 1200 calories of flapjack probably, 3 bottles of Lucozade, 2 bottles of water and 2 electrolyte tablets. So once I get to the top of this climb, we'll quick mini transition. I'll pull a t-shirt on and we're straight out onto the run, and I'll speak to you more out there, see how we feel. Right, I'm on the brick run. We've got about 30 minutes. I'm just going to try and lock into around about 5 minutes a kilometre pace, maybe a little shade over, and then just hopefully see how this food's all settled and make sure that it doesn't cause any sort of upset, because if it causes something wrong with my stomach in the first 30 minutes, it's certainly going to cause bother after 3 hours and 30 minutes or so, which is kind of the target for the marathon. So we'll look at decent pacing and just chill on the route for the next 30 minutes. Hard on camera now. Gonna go harder than that. There you go. Yeah, got it slightly shorter because the pool has blown a bit now, but yeah, 26.5 hour. And yeah, tough day, tough session that. Nutrition seemed to work alright, the legs felt relatively decent. Although they feel a bit weak for the run, but I suppose on top of what I took today, I'd probably be getting gels and stuff which would get a bit more calories on board as well. Some faster acting stuff. And yeah, so we learned a little bit, a few more things to try, and but lots of work to do on the bike to make that a bit more comfortable, because that was hard work today. Right, so that's the end of this week, and yeah, I'll get inside and we'll recap the week. So I'll keep it short this week, because basically, like you see in the first clip, the weather just hasn't played ball this week, so there's a lot of the training this week has been done on online, virtual training and things like that. But there is a few things that I think are probably worth touching on. Obviously everybody knows like what Zwift's like for workouts, but for the long ride this week I actually gave Rouvy a go, which I'd never tried before, and I did that. So for my long ride, I'll get onto that in a minute, but the long ride I had a bit of a shout at Rouvy, so yeah. So but yeah, pretty cool app, and it's a bit much different experience than Zwift, but yeah. But anyway, let's get through this week. So Monday was basically, like as mentioned in the first clip, Monday we just did an easy bike ride. It was just an hour indoors on Zwift. Again, the weather really wasn't good enough to get outside, and it pretty much started poorly and went downhill from there. So Tuesday is, like you see here, yeah, Tuesday wasn't very good, full of hailstones, pretty raging wind, it was freezing cold, and it just kept coming and going all the way through. So I mean, so I did the run outside for that, because I don't really have access to the treadmill at the moment. It's at my brother's house and he wasn't in, so but if it gets really bad again, I suppose I can always try to go that, but I don't think it'll get so bad that I can't run. But riding's a little bit different, because obviously you've got to think about the visibility, and just, yeah, basically I don't want to slip off my bike and crash it, because there's an icy hill, like loads of icy hills dumped down on the corner that I come into too quick. So yeah, just trying to be sensible with that. It's not the time to start injuring myself now. Swimming this week, I've tried to get a couple of swims in, so I've got ideally I would like to get 3 or 4 in, but I've only managed to get sort of I think 2 or 3. I don't know. Yeah, I've managed to get 2 swims in this week. One went pretty well, I was quite happy with. I did a session with 100 metre repeats and it felt alright. And the second one was meant to be a session that Ben wrote for us called Endless 50s, where I set a time when I'm fresh over 50 metres, is almost like an all-out sprint, and then basically off a really short rest try and get within, I think, about 10 seconds of that time for the 50 metres, just try and do as many as you can to try and keep in. I mean, being a pretty poor swimmer and a relatively slow swimmer, it was quite a difficult session, but it was made a lot more difficult because the pool was just so busy that day. So I think I got to a point where I think I couldn't really keep up anymore, or I was getting blocked too much, and I just eventually I spat my dummy out a bit and I jumped out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the pool maybe calming down a bit after the initial rush has gone over, so I can get in and get some more sensible sessions done. But hopefully it's a bit warmer today, which is why I'm sat in the garden. Yeah, might be able to start warming up a little bit, and we could get in the lake and we could do some longer sessions, a bit more specific to the Ironman anyway. So yeah, so on top of that, there's obviously a bit of a change to the structure of the week now to try and fit the brick sessions in, which are coming. So the long run now is, and like Ben mentioned on his channel, he's changed it for himself as well. The long run is now getting done on a Thursday. So Thursday's my first day off work, and usually so Wednesday's now a rest day, because I'm pretty wiped after Wednesday normally, after working and training and things like that. And still, obviously, I still get a lot of fatigue from the brain surgery and stuff like that, so I've got to keep on top of that. But Thursday was the long run day, so I went out and just did relatively easy. It was sub 8 minutes, which I was happy with, and it felt pretty strong. Again, I was like trying a little bit on the nutrition again, so I took a couple of gels with me, which I lost one, but I went through one gel. I think I had a couple of electrolyte tablets and probably about 400-500 ml of water with a couple of little bottles that I bought on a running belt. And yeah, it actually felt pretty strong throughout. We did 25k, so the stats are up there for the 25k, and actually felt really comfortable doing it, and even just off the back of that nutrition. But I've done a lot of runs around about the half marathon distance, which is 21k, so it's not a million miles away from that with nothing. So I think it's just a case of, for them, I don't really need the nutrition to do that distance. I will need nutrition to do the marathon, or at least to perform through the marathon. And it's just trying to figure out at the moment what's going to settle with me and not make me feel sick or start giving me stomach issues and things like that. So it's not what you want on a long run. But yeah, I was really happy with the gels. I'll probably add a couple more in and things like that next time, because actually when it comes to doing the Ironman marathon, I'm going to be taking a lot more on board than that. But yeah, first thoughts for the I use the SIS gels. I'm going to try some of the Martin ones, or Martin, or however it's pronounced, because apparently they're sponsoring Ironman and that's what's going to be available on the course. But first reports that I've heard from them, the people who tried them, said it's just like having a warm jelly baby. So I'm actually looking forward to trying them, because I've done plenty of runs on jelly babies before and things like that, and it actually works really well. So yeah, we'll see how they go. And then beyond that, there was I've had a bike session basically, which was 2 hours, and then I've had the brick session, so might as well go through each of them. The bike session was essentially meant to be sort of like a sweet spot training session, so there was going to be a couple hours mostly base with about a 20-minute interval, just hitting some sweet spot power and things like that, and trying to bring the heart rate up to the very top of zone 2, low end of zone 3. But basically, because again the weather, I would have preferred to have done that outside, and then I could have gone on relatively normal roads where I'm going to get things like I get on the day, where there's a few hills and there's rollers and things like that, which is what I'm going to have to put up with when I get to Bolton. So excuse me. So yeah, so instead I swapped that out. Obviously I couldn't get outside, I had to do it on Zwift. So I did the Three Sisters map, which I've done a few times before, which has, I think it's around about 30 something miles, and it's got about 1,000 and a bit meters of climbing in it. So, but they are the long climbs, just like, again, like what's on the Bolton Ironman course. So yeah, I thought it was a relatively decent ride and things like that. I did pretty easy between them and things like that. Just, I think it's good to sort of get the legs in, just getting used to going up and down the hills and stuff like that. And I mean, same with running, hills are just speed work in disguise really. So, and yeah, I actually enjoyed the ride. It was all right. I felt relatively comfortable throughout it, and yeah, it was just a nice easy couple hours on the bike, and got myself around the route. And yeah, I was happy to get around the full route in the time I did. It was just over 2 hours, and yeah, average power was, I think I'll show it on the screen, average power was somewhere around about the 150-ish mark, I think, for a couple hours. And yeah, I was happy enough with that. Now that kind of brings me on to the brick session for the weekend. Now the brick was meant to take place on today, Sunday, but I've been down to the doctors this morning to get my COVID booster. So I actually thought it was meant to be a few days ago, and I went down on the wrong day and they had the wrong vaccine in, so I couldn't get it. And so none, it was today. I brought the brick forward because it's not really advisable after the injection to sort of go out, and because you feel a bit rubbish, so you're better off just chilling out and sitting on the couch basically after you've had your COVID jab. So if you haven't had it yet, yeah, don't plan big days at the same time. But so yeah, I did the brick session yesterday, and to go along with the brick session and try and make it a bit more specific in my training, I downloaded Roovy. There's I think when you download and sign up, you get a 2-week free trial, so I thought it's enough time for me to see what it's like. And so I logged in, and there's a guy who's got the full Ironman 2020 Ironman UK course on there, which includes a section from Pennington Flash up onto the loop. And I did 110k around there, which was, for me, it was I think it was about 4.5 hours it took me. So it was a lot harder than I thought it was. Compared to some of the maps on Zwift, the hills on the Bolton bike course on Roovy were relentless. There is some good areas of flat, and I do think I'm probably making the right decision taking the TT bike, because there were some good areas where you could get down into the aero bars, and there were some decent downhills where you could probably get on the aeros. Now what I will point out though is there was also some areas where my speed was probably getting up to whereas in real life the roads looked a bit windy, and the speeds were at the point where I probably wouldn't be sat on the aero bars. So the average speed was probably too high for those sections, but for the hills, I find hills in real life a lot easier than I do on virtually. So in 4.5 hours on an indoor trainer, it was absolutely awful. I have to admit, my backside was bloody raw afterwards. Whereas I've done loads of 4 and 5 hour rides outdoors, and I don't get any sort of saddle discomfort at all. So yeah, I might have to, if I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff indoors, which fingers crossed I won't be, I might have to try and come up with a better solution, or find some better bibs to ride indoors with. But yeah, it was a really good experience actually. It's quite cool seeing yourself on the map, and you can pick points out on the map along the route as little waypoints for yourself, and you can break the route up like that. And it's good for me to be able to sort of pick little checkpoints up that I can put in my head, and when I see the signs for them on the day, I can be like, okay, I'm not far from there, I'm not far from there, or this is a hard bit. If I remember right, one of the ones, there's a place called, I think, Tunton or Tufton or something like that. That's on the later part of the loop. There's a decent section where you've got to climb up into that, and that's hard work. And then there's probably towards the start of the loop, there's a decent climb up towards a place called, I think, 3 Lanes End, or 3 Lane Ends, or something like that. It's something around that sort of thing anyway. And that was really difficult as well. But in between them, it's just rollers, short punchy climbs. I mean, I'm fine with short punchy climbs. It's the long steep ones which are the hard ones that I find. But yeah, it was really good. I'll pop the map up on here and you can see where the map is and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you've never tried, Millie, it's just a fly, just leave it. But yeah, it's all right, don't worry, Daddy's talking. But yeah, if you've never tried Ruru before and you're doing the Ironman, give it a go, download it. There's a 2-week trial, and there's a couple of different Ironman routes on, and there's the one I am going to try, probably not now, but maybe after the Ironman. I'd love to try and do the Kona one, which has the full augmented reality sort of route map with it and things like that, so I'd love to have a go at that one, but that's something for the future, I think. But yeah, but that's the full week. So I think early in the week I guessed it was probably going to be about 12 or 13 hours, and I don't think I'm far off that, with about, yeah, I've got about 12 hours of swim, bike, run, and that doesn't include my strength and conditioning work, which is all my stretching and flexibility things. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, it's been a really good week, and I'm really happy with how things have gone basically. And I do feel dreadful today, I have to admit, and the run off the bike yesterday was actually hard work after doing so much climbing. And that was a lot more climbing than I'm used to be honest, as well. So I'm going to do a lot more shorter rides, probably around that loop. I think there is a map on there which just has the loop section from the transition area in Bolton Town Centre, and you go around and back. So I'm probably going to do a few more virtual rides on there, just to get used to try some of the figure out some of the landmarks in my head, and get used to where the climbs are, and just get used to the recovery sections behind it. So yeah, so I'll wrap up there for the week. Like I say, I apologise for the changing format, but the weather's been horrific, and nobody wants to see me riding around on Zwift sweating my tits off with no shirt on. So yeah, so I'll leave that there for this week, and hopefully next week the weather will pick up and play ball, and we can get out and do some nice stuff. Thursday I've arranged with Chris, weather dependent, to try and get the first lake swim in as well. So hopefully we might have some fun footage of you laughing at me, because I don't deal with the cold very well, and you can have a good laugh at seeing me just bloody being a wimp, jumping into cold water with a wetsuit for the first time. So I'll catch you later in the week, and yeah, I hope your training week's gone really well, and yeah, catch you next time, and thanks a lot for watching.